Prime Minister Modi there in his marathon address to BJP party workers today after that massive BJP victory in 4 out of 5 states. Historic win in Uttar Pradesh with the party coming back to power. The first time that has happened in more than 30 years. He spoke for 40 minutes where he listed out what his government has done, talked about his campaign, crediting women voters right at the beginning of that speech, also talking about good governance, the delivery of welfare schemes and emphasizing on that repeatedly, Vasu. I thought the big takeaway from that was him saying that 2022 has decided the outcome of 2024. So now over the next few minutes, we'll take a quick comment from our panelists to look at those elections. Yeah.
That's the big headline. He says the road to 2024 is now clear because of 2022. Remember, Amit Shah had said at the outset that UP 2022 will decide the 2024 elections. So, victory has already been declared in 2024.
It has already been declared in 2024. Let's get a quick comment from everyone. Yogendra Yadav, thanks very much for joining us. Would you agree with what Mr. Modi has said there, that
2024
it's
is a done
very clear
deal.
that it's, I mean, as far as he's concerned, that it is a done deal. Is that how you see it too?
There are 3 things that Mr. Modi said that I agree with. One, that today's verdict has implications for 2024. The road for 2024 was very tough for those who want to save this country. And that road got tougher today. There's no doubt about it. He said this verdict has implications beyond Uttar Pradesh. And I agree. I think that's very important. This verdict is not only about Uttar Pradesh or Labharthis or something of that kind. It's about a deeper cultural connect that BJP has made with North Indian and Western Indian voters. He also said this was beyond caste and community. BJP did use caste in a very significant way. But yes, it was beyond caste and community. Having said that, I think the larger message, which must not be clouded in the rhetoric that we saw, in the kind of speeches that we hear. The larger message, and I want to underline it is that our republic is being dismantled, and that public is being mobilized to dismantle the republic. I said it this morning during this conversation with Dr. Roy. Many people found it offensive and strange. I don't know what is strange about it. This is what we have seen in Putin.
Yeah, right.
In Russia, we saw that in Hungary, in Turkey, in Sri Lanka. And I'm saying it in all humbleness. And I'm saying that people like us are responsible for not being able to communicate to the ordinary people. And the consequences of this verdict is that we are walking towards dismantling of not just democracy, but of the republic itself.
Okay. Not to cut you off, we will come back to you in a second because we have with us Anupriya Patel, of course, senior partner of the BJP alliance in Uttar Pradesh, the Apna Dal, and also Union Minister. Thank you very much indeed, Anupriya ji, for joining us. Congratulations to you. It's been a fantastic win in Uttar Pradesh. Just give us a sense now.
Thank you very much.
We were talking to you, by the way, Didi and I, during the time of the exit poll. Was there ever a sense where you felt, because there was a perception that as the race went along, it was getting a bit, tighter, election atak raha tha, phas raha tha, we would keep hearing this. Did you ever get a sense that that was happening, or were you always clear that it was going to be this kind of number?
I was always confident that NDA will come back to power in UP. However, such a kind of narrative or a perception was being attempted by the rival alliance, the Samajwadi Party-led alliance. And there is no harm. I mean, when there are different political parties in the fray, they will try to put their point across and create a narrative which helps them to win the election. So this is quite a natural phenomenon. However, I was always sure that we will come back and the voter will repose their faith in the NDA alliance.
Anupriya Patel, congratulations from my side as well. You know, one of the things the Prime Minister emphasized on right at the beginning of his speech tonight was crediting women voters for bringing the BJP back in UP in particular. Just tell us a little bit about the women voter phenomenon there and why the BJP's message has resonated so strongly with women.
First of all, let me just say that it is not BJP alone which has been voted back to power, it is NDA. So it is a combination of BJP and Apna Dal and Nishad Party. Please don't discredit us.
It's we shouldn't.
Fair point.
It's an alliance, it's a collective force and it's a collective effort. And yes, women are becoming increasingly important in the political scenario. Their power, their impact as a voter is being realized by the country as a whole and the political parties. And it is a good trend that political parties are now realizing that their policies must be more women-centric and they must also make attempts to woo the women voters. NDA Alliance, especially our government, made specific attempts. The policies which were run by Modi ji's government, which eventually was seen in UP also, you see there is a big focus on the women voters. The housing scheme which we ran, the ownership was always in the name of the woman member of the household. The toilets that we constructed across UP and across the country, that brings dignity to a lot of women in the urban and the rural pockets. Self-help groups empowerment was something that we really worked upon because we feel women must be self-dependent. So this message has gone to women that the government is concerned about their welfare too. They can actually feel tangible benefits in their own hands. So women, as I said, have become very crucial. They are more aware and they really want to know what the government or what the political party or the alliance which is running the state thinks about them, does for them. And all that they received in these 5 years has gone a long way in creating this abundant support for the NDA alliance.
And just one question though, that obviously again, taking nothing away from the victory, but if you look at it, the BJP, the NDA, alliance has dropped by about 50 seats. Samajwadi Party has jumped to 125 from 47. So it does suggest that people, yes, they voted you back, but there were issues as well, and those were issues that you're well aware of, and all of us traveling in Uttar Pradesh heard, whether it was, unemployment, economic distress, all of that. So would you concede that there is still a lot of work to be done?
Yes, I completely agree. There is a loss of certain seats, and that is very much on account of the factors like the stray cattle menace, which we realize that we have to work more upon it to address this problem. It's a serious issue in the rural areas. The Honorable Prime Minister also said that our government will do more to address this problem. And the 69,000 teachers recruitment issue yet needs to be solved. The government made an effort, but then it got stuck in the court. We need to work upon it. Employment generation, we've created a roadmap. There's infrastructure, huge infrastructure which has been created. We are yet to bring in more investments and actually create something tangible which could be seen. So employment generation, yes, this is an issue which also needs attention. So I wouldn't deny because there are certain problems and they need to be taken care of.
Right.
Can I just quickly ask you about Yogendra Yadav's comments just now on this program before you came on, where he said that he sees this verdict as the beginning of the dismantling of the Indian Republic. How would you respond to that?
I fail to understand how does he see NDA alliance coming back to power in Uttar Pradesh as the beginning of the dismantling of the Republic of India. I think I would want him to elaborate more on this because I see it as something absolutely different. This is the new kind of era we have ushered into, wherein the electorate or the voter is holding the political parties or the alliances which run the government for a certain period of time more accountable. They are aspirational, they have sky-high expectation, and they really watch your performance and they want to see what change you have created in the quality of life that they lead. If you haven't created a positive change in their life, they will not vote you back to power. So I think I would need an elaboration on how this is dismantling of India as a republic.
Right. I don't want to speak for Yogendra, but I think one of the things that had come up in the conversation was that if one looks at how much the needle has swung in terms of how a government behaves in terms of whether it's majoritarianism, the kind of comments that are made, very, very communal comments, the kind of policies that are passed, like love jihad laws, which essentially criminalize interfaith relationships, all of that, those are all areas of concern. And in fact, you were candid enough to tell us when you'd come on the exit poll show that you were not happy with that. You were, as an ally, you couldn't control it, but you weren't happy with that.
Yeah.
Look, there are parties which have ideological differences on issues of serious concern, but they still come together to form government. One example could be BJP and PDP coming together to form a government in Jammu and Kashmir few years back. So, although we are a part of NDA, but we definitely reserve the right to differ on certain issues, and we register our dissent also, wherein we are in disagreement with the actions or the decisions that the government takes.
Right. Okay. Well, fair enough, Anupriya Patel. Thank you very much indeed for joining us and for being quite candid, as always, with your views. Nidhi, we also have with us another big winner of today, Biren Singh, Chief Minister of Manipur. He's back in power, and thank you very much indeed, Biren Singh ji, for joining us. Big congratulations to you, sir, for yet another innings. You're a ex-footballer, so you've scored now 2 goals in a row. Biren Singh ji, give us a sense of how this played out, because again there was a perception, like with many of these other states, that there were questions of anti-incumbency, there was economic distress, all of that. You had smaller parties challenging you, like the NPP and the NPF, yet you managed to pull it off.
You see, very important thing is, as a politician, as a leader, just trust with the peoples. So, since the assumption of in power in 2017, I started my work through the ground level, and I have seen many things in the previous government that there is division between the hill and the valley peoples, the frustration of the youth, fag encounters, discrimination of the human right violation in the state. So many things were taking place. So after seeing all these things, I immediately assumed power as a CM in 2017. I started serving of the peoples of the state, and I started cleaning off the arrogant nature in the security personnel, as well as the elements in the societies. Now that's the reason why we could manage to keep peacefully in the last 5 years without having any ban in the blockade, general strike, and a communal dispute between the communities. So, and the one very effective mantra was the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi's mantra that "Sabko Saath Le,"
right?
"Sabko Saath" or "Sabko Vikas De," and "Sabko Vishwas Rakho." Along with that, "Prayas Karo Sabko." So that was
Mr.
the
Singh, if you could give us
mantra which I
walk
along with the people of the state. If you could just
give us a sort of a brief idea of the way politics has changed in Manipur. It was a very interesting observation made by an analyst earlier today who said that very much like Manipur is going the Assam way, slowly, in terms of the kind of politics that's playing out, and very much in sync with the way it's happening at the center as well. Is that what's happening?
What kind of Assam way? Manipur is a separate state. Assam is a separate state. Nothing to do, nothing to imitate. We are having our own culture, our own administrator style. Nationalist, Manipur is nationalist. Recently what happened, Honorable Union Home Minister went to the Kalapani, Andaman Nicobar, and just he gave tribute to the late King Maharaja Kulachandra, who sacrificed for the state against the British. So many nationalist backgrounds and the historical background is here in the state of Manipur. But very unfortunately, most of the national media doesn't try to cover it and it doesn't try to know it.
But tell me, Singh Saab, you know, it's interesting because you were with the Congress earlier. Now you're very much part of the BJP. This is the story of the Congress across the Northeast. A number of chief ministers, a number of big leaders, whether it's Himanta, whether it's you, have all come from the Congress parivar, which is disintegrating in the Northeast, I mean across India. What do you think, as someone who's been in the Congress system, what do you think is going wrong with the Congress that makes
actually, you know,
so many of you,
yeah,
you know,
actually, right, you are right. Actually, comparing with the Congress, BJP is, you know, a different party. I never have the taste of this type of, you know, the nature, the working style. So well organized from the top to the grassroots level, ground, and so hard working, you know. Each and every time, just we cannot have time to take rest. And well organized, well monitoring. So that is very different, and there is no any vacuum between the hierarchy. I don't see any that type of hierarchy which we faced in during the time of Congress. And here, you know, that whenever we want, we can get the telephone call. Whenever we want, they come down here and interactive with us. That's the difference. That is the real difference.
So BJP leaders take your call and the Congress rests a lot. that was the takeaway.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Sir, they're making you work very hard, is it?
No,
just being
not only the telephone call. Not only the telephone call. When we seek appointment, you know.
Right. Right.
We have to wait. We have to wait month.
Right. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thanks very much indeed.
Congratulations again,
Congratulations.
Mr.
Thank you.
This
Thank you
reminds
very
us
much.
of
Thank
that story that Himanta Biswa always used to say about why he left the Congress. Because
Well,
of
he still says it.
he
hasn't stopped
still
saying
hasn't
it.
stopped saying his experience with
Rahul
waiting for
Gandhi.
Rahul Gandhi. Thanks very much indeed. All right. Let's
Yeah,
just
actually,
Yes.
actually,
yes.
you know, as
Sir.
a human being, we need respect, self-respect, man, at least. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. Thank you very much indeed. All right. We just have time for very, very quick comments. Supriya Srinate is with us. Apologies again for this wait. It was just, you know, the scheduling was out of our hands. And of course, Satyapal Jain, Additional Solicitor General of India, BJP member. Supriya Srinate, just a quick word from you on, you know, another debacle election for the Congress. You just heard, in fact, from a former colleague of yours, who's now in the Chief Minister of Manipur, why people are leaving. And you know, that's hurting the Congress, election after election.
But what do you expect a former colleague who's now with the BJP to say? I mean, he is going to say exactly what he did, much like Hemanta Biswa Sarma's concocted fabrication of his mind as well. However, on the verdict, I would turn around and say one thing, that I think this reflects on two things. Firstly, maybe we couldn't articulate and put to the voter the kind of issues that we wanted to raise, which were actually pertinent to the voters, whether it's price rise, whether it's lawlessness, whether it is unemployment. Maybe we couldn't articulate it. And on that, I think the BJP, and I congratulate the BJP for winning in the states that they did, and the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab. You've got to be gracious in both victory and defeat. And I think what the Congress needs to do perhaps is invest a lot more in communication, in marketing, and perhaps people's management. I am not denying that. I'm not going to come here
It might be
say
a
everything
problem
hunky-dory.
that goes
I'm sure there are lessons to be
beyond
learned.
just communication, unfortunately, and we I wish we had more time
I
to
said
talk
people
about that.
management and marketing as well.
Well,
Nidhi.
maybe figure out the leadership also. But Jasmine Shah of the Aam Aadmi Party, just a quick comment from you. You know, such a stunning victory for your party in Punjab today. Also 2 seats in Goa, which is significant. Are the Aam Aadmi Party's national ambitions now clear? Do you see Arvind Kejriwal as a potential national face to take on Mr. Modi?
Nidhi, first let me say that today we take a lot of positives for the Indian democracy out of the mandate that Aam Aadmi Party has received today. I heard some panelists earlier saying that the hope for rescuing Indian democracy is even weaker now. I would say that the people of Punjab have shown today that India can change and how to change India by actually electing an honest political alternative that is willing to stick its neck out and say that, look, we are going to take the bottom line to fix your schools, education, and work for all those issues that for 70 years nobody has worked on. So as far as 2024 is concerned, it's very clear that today the Kejriwal model of governance, the Delhi model of governance is being accepted pan-India,
So
and state after state people are going to be demanding, and AAP is ready for it.
Okay, that's interesting. In fact, Jasmine, AAP leaders have been saying that all day. Last word from you, Satyapal Jain sahab, because Modi ji is saying that 2024 is kind of now a done deal after today. But here you have challengers like AAP saying it may be very much open, and instead of the Congress, you might be up against, you know, Kejriwal or one of these new challengers. Jain sahab.
Kejriwal,
I have to say only two things. Number one, to raise any finger towards the mandate given by the electorate to call it that it is the beginning of the dismantling of the Indian Republic. With all respect, I say it is insulting the Indian masses and Indian voters. It is the voter ultimately who decides which is the government which can safeguard the integrity, unity of the country and the republic. Secondly, I think the position, though I was thinking, Hindi ki line hai na, phoolon ki dali se sikho phala hai jhuk jana. I did not want to say anything against any party. But the way these people are reacting, I think इनकी हालत वही है कि कारवां गुजर गया, गुबार देखते रहे. अब आप क्रिटिसाइज करोगे, आप एनालाइज करोगे. You remember 2 days earlier when I was on your channel, I told you that you will find out that even women in large number have voted for us, even Muslim voters have voted for us. Even you reacted very sharply. No. Where is the data? Please analyze. Women section, youth, senior citizens, all have voted en bloc for Mr. Modi, and the country has shown that it is the Prime Minister who enjoys the confidence of the people.
Right.
Central India also, South India also, Northeast also. Indian democracy is getting strengthened, not weakened. Ukraine crisis has shown that. Handling of the corona has shown that.
Well,
certainly.
Yes. All right, thank you so much. Apologies. As we said, a lot of this wasn't in our control because of the Prime Minister's speech, but much more analysis coming up right after the break.